I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners meeting for December 27, 2023. Roll call, please.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
So tonight's a pretty special meeting for sure, and given the subject of what we're going to discuss and vote on this evening, I would like to ask our Chief of Police, Bill Tierney, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, God, indivisible.
So we need to start off on, unfortunately, a sad note at the beginning here. In a moment, I'm going to ask everyone to stand in a moment of silence on behalf of Marilyn Forst, who passed away earlier today. Many of you probably know her, and probably known her for many years. Quick background on Marilyn, who we've all known. 20 plus years, she was a school crossing guard for Hatfield Elementary here. She was a very long-time parishioner of St. Maria Goretti. It's my parish, and so I know a number of other commissioners, past and present, have gone there and been parishioners there. She is the wife of longtime Commissioner Bill Forst, who we lost a few years ago as well. And we're not quite sure exactly how long she lived here, but we are pretty confident to say that she was a resident for upwards of 60 to 70 plus years. Just a real wonderful resident here for Hatfield, and our best to her entire family at a very difficult time. So I'm going to ask that everybody stand for a moment of silence in her honor. Thank you. All right, so a couple of quick items before we get into the reason why we're all here. Is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Any questions or comments with regard to the agenda? If not, I'll call a question. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Citizens' comments. So this is citizens' comments typically on agenda items. During this process, what we're going to do is, right after this, we're just going to do a little bit of a presentation, nothing formal, quite informal in fact, that just kind of lays out why we're doing it, what this looks like, what the votes look like, what this all means. And so then at any time during the process, if residents or commissioners or others have a question, they can really just put up their hand and we can field all questions that we have. Christian Donovan, who's with Boyle Construction, is here with us. Boyle Construction is the construction manager, the CM, and they've been a great help to us throughout the entire process. And so if we don't know the question, if we don't know the answer to the question, with any luck, he does. And then, of course, if none of us do, we would just jot it down and get back to whoever asked the question. So any citizens' comments otherwise? All right. So we're going to jump into our action items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 of them. The last one is the ordinance which would allow us the borrowing power or authority to pay for the construction of the building. So let me start off with a couple of quick points, and then when I'm done, the township manager or other commissioners can jump in and add for sure. What we've done is accumulate some questions that others have submitted and tried to answer them as best as possible, some of them more general, some of them more specific. By the way, the expectation based off of the bidding that we received, the bids that we opened, is that the borrowing authority that we would receive, the maximum that we would vote on this evening, is $21 million to build the entire facility, soup to nuts, beginning to top to bottom. There are, 9 action items, which is the approval of primarily almost all of the prime bidders, which is, like HVAC, your plumbing, your electrical, those kinds of things. And they're broken down by how much each bid is awarded. One of them we're actually going to rebid in February. That's for the electrical, but we'll talk about that in a second. And so the first question that we received, and so that we wanted to field right away, is why do we need a new station? Now, for those of you who are, I see all the smiling going on in the back, because the people who know what that station is like fully understand that there is a dire need in order to have a new police station. But for those people who are here for the first time or watching on television and are not quite sure, we wanted to give you some facts so you understood what brought us to this point. The current police station was built in the 70s to accommodate a department of 13 police officers and a community of only 8,000 residents. Of course, we are now a community of over 21,000 residents when you include the borough, and we have 31 officers that work for us. So, you know, it's almost not quite 3 times the size of the personnel inside that building. And the new station's being built with a future in mind so that it could accommodate as many as 50 officers equipped to serve our growing community. The current station, I think anyone who's been in it knows that it's small, it lacks security for the officers, which is of utmost importance to us as commissioners. It's not completely accessible, not only to them, but also to residents. It's outdated, dysfunctional plumbing, heating, and cooling systems. And I think anyone who took a moment and went over and took a look at it and said, let me take a look around, they would quickly agree that yes, it is more than time for us to find a new home for what is really, and I don't mean this just because you're all in the back of the room, I think many of you hear us say this, what we think is absolutely the best police department around. Not only the work that you do, but the people who work for us more than warrants the you know, a new facility that is up to date, up to code, sufficient for the complexity of the job that you have, and so we greatly appreciate everything you do, and this is just a small part of that for sure. The new station, of course, which we purchased in 2020, Aaron, is that correct? I think we bought that property in
Sir, summer
2020.
of 2020.
Was intended always to do exactly this, for us to be at this moment in time so that we could construct a building that meets not only our personnel needs, but our public safety needs and the complexity of the work that they perform. And the new station's going to be located in a central location. It's not really centrally located right now. Now it'll be outside of a residential area, and in addition to that, it's going to improve what is a bit of an eyesore of a location that has been an eyesore for decades. So, second item that we wanted to address, why is the new station so expensive? Couldn't you have cut some costs? We're certain that some people have asked us that, and some may ask us that even after this evening. We immediately saved over $150,000 by using a template of a neighboring or a nearby police station, which we think is perfectly suited for us. The cost of the construction certainly has grown over the last 2 or 3 years, and undoubtedly, I would not be telling, this is undoubtedly one of the issues we've discussed in this very room, and that is, if we continue to wait, if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down, the numbers that we're presumably going to approve tonight are just going to grow and grow. So now is the time to act for sure. We are currently pursuing approximately $10 million worth of grants, and of course, we're going to leave no stone unturned when it comes to that. We've already received a $265,000 grant for the upgraded traffic signal for CalPath at the entrance to the station. And of course, we hope to get a commitment for several million more in the upcoming year. So kind of let me get to the brass tacks of it. The plan that we have is that we would be able to, even at the ordinance amount that the amount that we are approving in our ordinance, that we could back the loan without the need for a tax increase sometime in the next 3 to 5 years, even if we get none of the grants that we're expecting. Let me repeat that. Even if we get none of the grants, we're in a cash position because of a lot of forethought by our staff and by our chief, and I'd like to say not nearly as much, but importantly by commissioners, that we are in a position that if we get 0 grants from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania or elsewhere for the next roughly 3 to 5 years, we still won't even see a tax increase as a result of, at least as a result of this construction project. If we get the grants that we are anticipating, and we think we've got a compelling basis to get those grants from Harrisburg and the agencies in Harrisburg, there's a real opportunity, a real possibility that we can do this entire construction project without ever having a tax increase that results because of the construction itself. Now, there may be somewhere down the road, there could be all different kinds of other issues that bring us to a conversation of taxes, but it wouldn't be because of this construction project if we get most of those grants that we're anticipating. And that was a compelling consideration for us, for sure. I wanted to mention to you, some people are like, how is that possible, right? So let me just give you a thumbnail sketch of it. The building that you're sitting in, we're still paying, we have a loan on. We still have a loan on. We have a debt tax, we have a debt service tax in this township that has been, taxes are received as a result of that debt tax, and we put that money towards paying off this building. In the next 3 to 5 years, this building will be paid off. There will be no other major piece of debt or plant or physical like the pool or anything else. Most, if not all, of the debt service that we have for that from that millage can go directly to this construction project, and that would pay for the construction itself. So, as one debt goes off, while we pick up another debt, we can essentially pay for it without increasing taxes. That's the expectation, and that's the hope. 2 other quick points. How are the officers going to get around the traffic on Cowpath during rush hour? For those of you who have seen the design, the project includes a police-only driveway to access Orvilla and avoid the busiest intersection in the town, and also help them to get out to 309 faster. And that was an important component of this. And then last is the project going to ruin the nature area and the open space? This project will not impede the township's nature area. In fact, the nature area will remain preserved in perpetuity. And I'd like to say, I think, if not for this project, that property would have likely been developed privately and we would have never been able to keep it. So there's quite a bit of a win-win on that subject. So that's a thumbnail sketch from my perspective, more probably than maybe some of you even wanted. But we think it's important, given the significance of the project, the value of the project, and the effort that's been put into it, and the forethought for years now that we've put into it. We thought it would be best to give that presentation now, so that anyone who is not fully understanding of what's taking place gets at least that knowledge of, all right, why are 5 people up here voting on this tonight, and what's the impetus and what's the need for it? I'll open the floor not only to our township manager, but to any other commissioners who want to contribute. That usually means I went on too long and they're bored. They all fell asleep, and then I looked over and they went, what? Zipfel, stop talking? Okay. Anybody else? Residents, any questions or comments before we start our action items? What'll happen now is we'll just go through our action items. We'll approve each of the contracts, right? And that's our meeting. It's not much more than that. It's a special meeting just for those needs. All right. Seeing no one run up to the podium, I'm going to take the action items in order. Is there a motion to award the general construction contract bid to Gordon H. Baver, Inc. in the amount of $8,624,340 as recommended by the construction manager, Boyle Construction?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus, second by Commissioner Lees. Any questions, comments? And for those of you, this is the general contracting portion of the contract. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Second action item. Is there a motion to award the mechanical construction contract, to award that bid to Guy Cooper in the amount of $816,000 as recommended by the construction manager, Boyle Construction?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of the mechanical construction contract and the motion in that awarding that bid, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Plumbing construction contract. Is there a motion to award the plumbing construction contract to AKC Mechanical LLC in the amount of $601,000 as recommended by the construction manager, Boyle Construction, Inc.?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Andrus. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Fire protection construction contract. Is there a motion to award that contract to Accelerated Fire Protection, Inc. in the amount of $196,712 as recommended by the construction manager, Boyle Construction, Inc.?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Zimmerman.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Site work construction contract. Is there a motion to award the site work construction contract to Ben Cardino Excavating in the amount of $5,817,614 as recommended by the construction manager, Boyle Construction, Inc.?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Rogers.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Andrus. Questions or comments? Site work is, the easiest way to think of it is, once everything is kind of cleared off, they kind of clear off the site, they level it off, they make sure that it's sometimes not just flat, but also leveled off for water purposes and rig grading. Yep. And they take care of all that in the underground. They don't do the underground work, but they prepare it so that people can come in and do the underground work.
In this project, they'll also be building the road out to our villa for the officers. All the improvements to Cowpath.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. So the electrical construction contract is, at least administratively, been rejected at this point. There's some clarifications that need to be done in the bid documents, not an uncommon occurrence at all, and is likely to be rebid, and presumably those bids would be open in or about February. But a good housekeeping measure for us is to reject all the current bids at this point, and then they'll go through that process a second time after the clarifications are made. So I'm going to take a motion to reject all three bids as recommended by Construction Manager Boyle Construction and to rebid the electrical construction contract. Is there such a bid? Is there such a motion? Commissioner Lees makes a motion.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. The supply generator, is there a motion to approve the purchase of the supply generator for $190,000 from AJM Electric through CoStars as recommended by Construction Manager Boyle Construction, Inc.?
So moved.
Motion by, excuse me, Commissioner Andrus, second by Vice President Rogers. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion related to the supply generator, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Security camera system. Is there a motion to approve the purchase of the security camera system for $219,223 from Integrated Security Systems as recommended by Hatfield Township's Information Technology Director?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Zimmerman, second by Commissioner Lees. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call a question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. All right, our last one, which is our ordinance, which allows us to borrow in order to make these payments throughout the entire process. So there's ordinance number 705. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance to the authorization to incur non-electoral debt from the Delaware Valley Regional Finance Authority? Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. Questions or comments? This is what allows us to borrow the $21 million as needed and pay the prime contractors as needed. All right, I'm going to call a question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. So from our perspective, right, those of us up on the dais, this is the last piece of the puzzle for really updating and improving the township in such a way. I mean, we've got the pool, we have this building, and that was always the piece that needed to be done. And so we're extraordinarily pleased. That's as much as you need to really kind of know about the commissioners, because more important than that is the fantastic work that's been done by Aaron and the staff and chief and all of you, all of our police officers in the back is really what's gotten this all done. That got us from the beginning of this process to tonight and will continue out throughout until the construction is completed. We're just extraordinarily happy and pleased for you. And I think I'm hopeful for the day for when, you know, the first day will be there and Chief will cut the ribbon and we'll all walk in and how happy all of you in the back will be to say, I have a desk. This is fantastic. I'm not standing or sitting on top of someone just to do my work. So we're all looking forward to that day. So congratulations.
Will I have flowers in my hair on that day, or? May I say a couple?
Absolutely.
So this is monumental for this township and this police department. I think you see a lot of smiling faces back there. A lot of them old, a lot of them new, a couple that have retired that have come back. Mike Diamond saw us through the old. Say thank you enough. From the day I walked into the building was old and beaten, and that was 39 years ago. Just going through this process with Aaron, Scott, the board, the builders has been phenomenal. Everything about this is top shelf, top class. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Anyone else? Because there's nothing left to do but see if there's if there's a motion to adjourn. So if somebody has anything else, all right. I assume there's no township staff report. Tina?
I'm Tina Sowitz. I live on Claremont Drive. Hi. I just wanted to thank, actually, Bob and I want to thank the chief for our wonderful, fabulous sweatshirts that we have for Neighborhood Watch. I also like to thank Ralph and Peg for all the work that they do in helping to get the sweatshirts through. I will.
Turn around and model.
I will. A lot of people have noticed, and a lot of people ask a lot of questions, so it's bringing some attention to Neighborhood Watch. We invite everybody to come at our meetings. It's on the website. You can call the police station and get the information. It's a time when the residents come together and learn things about where they live, and you're able to bring up topics that are important to you that will also be important to other people who live in our township and our borough. So it's open to everyone. We invite everybody. I'm just taking this moment to thank the chief again, and Peg and Ralph, and wish everybody a good 2024. And here's the back. You can't miss us.
We're actually going to have a place in the new building to share with the Neighborhood Watch as well.
Wow, nice, nice, that's great. Tina, Bob, and everyone else who volunteers, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. It means
We
a
actually
lot.
eliminated the chief's office for the neighborhood watch.
That's because I'm moving into the township manager's office, because
I'm scared to find out where he thinks you're going, so I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, I don't think we have any township staff reports, right? No, sir. Do we have any other citizens' comments? If not, then there's nothing left to do than take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees,
Second.
second by Commissioner Zimmerman. Any questions or comments? All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year.